Welcome to the Zen Supermom podcast. The episode today is for you if you want to help your kids, support them with their emotions when things are not going their way. So something seemingly small, silly, really not important happens to your kids and they lose it, they have a tantrum, they have total breakdown, like "Rah!" And you want to be able to support them and help them, teach them how to manage their big emotions, especially in these small situations, without you getting frustrated and aggravated and angry about it yourself, because that's what usually happens, right? Something small happens to your kids, they lose it, and then you're like, what the heck? This is such an insignificant thing. Why are you making so much drama about it? And then you find yourself getting angry and upset, which makes everything even worse. So, how do we stay calm, even through our kids' big little dramas, so that we can help them, we can teach them how they can calm themselves down? Curious? Let's go. Hi, Supermom or Superdad. Alena here, your mommy tantrum specialist and the founder of the Zen Supermom system. And me and my team have helped hundreds of moms and dads start setting healthy boundaries with calm. And this is the first parenting podcast that is not about your kids, that shows you why none of the parenting techniques helped you stop yelling at your kids and how to control your emotions from jumping out so that you can be the safe, loving parent you wish you had growing up. This is the Zen Supermom podcast. Hi, I'm Alena. I'm a mommy tantrum specialist and the founder of the Zen Supermom system, where me and my team, help busy moms and dads as well be able to stay calm, so that no matter what drama your kid is going through, you can actually teach them how to manage their emotions rather than making it worse by adding your anger and frustration and resentment and stress and time pressure on top, which usually makes it even worse for your kids, right? So if you're here for that, if you didn't come here to say, hey, give me a parenting script because my kids are so annoying about such little dumb things, like give me the abracadabra magic parenting script formula so that they never have a big drama over a small thing. Well, if you already understand that that's not the solution, then let's talk. Because I hear it very often from the moms I work with, but also especially from the moms, the parents in general, who come to me for the free mommy tantrum training. If you haven't seen it, by the way, yet, it's a good time to register and get it all from A to Z, because yes, this podcast is great. Yes, I talk about a lot of things, like lots of specific cases. However, if you want to get it from A to Z, what is it that you need to be a calm parent and not lose your stuff when your kids lose it, then you might want to listen up. So it comes up very often in these mommy tantrum trainings because moms, they come to me with specific examples, and this is one of them, one of the situations when they totally lose it and they don't even see it coming. It's seemingly stupid little silly situation and they complain I never saw it coming. It was just about that my kid couldn't choose the color of their cup, or because their toy, a piece of it broke, but then I already fixed it, I already put it back, or they wanted to wear shorts and it was too cold, so I told them to have long pants. For you, it's completely no big deal, right? Let's get over it. But your child has a total meltdown. And usually the smaller they are, the bigger the meltdown is. Unless then it's teenagers, and that's a whole different story because there are their hormones and stuff going on top of it. But usually this rings a bell for moms of younger kids. And if you don't catch it when they are young, it might be still happening when they are already early school years, 6, 7, 8. They will be still having a hard time making peace with a situation that didn't go their way. They wanted something, it was not possible. It was not even your fault. It's not that you said no to a candy before dinner. It's something that was totally outside of your control. It was not your fault, but your kid is having such a hard time getting over it. And you're totally lost. You're like, what the heck? Get some resilience, kid. Like, get over it. It's a small stuff. So how do you support your kid? You already know that if you get frustrated, the moment you get angry and impatient and you start feeling like, get over it, this is no big deal, why are you making such a big fuss about it? That's usually what makes it even worse, right? Why? Now try to think from your perspective. How would it feel? How would it feel like to you? And how do you usually react? Let's play a game. How do you usually react if you're driving when somebody cuts you off? How do you feel when you look outside of the window and it's raining and you planned a nice family picnic, or you were hoping you can get the kids out so that they don't behave like crazy monkeys at home and they spend some energy outside? So how do you feel when you look outside of the window and it's not possible? How do you feel like when you open the fridge and you realize that somebody ate your last favorite yogurt or some like food that you were looking forward to eating right now and it's gone because somebody ate it? How do you feel like when you realize your favorite piece of clothes, like your ultimate all-time favorite clothes, is either like it has a stain on it or it has been damaged in some way, so you cannot wear it right now, or it's in the wash, you wanted to wear it and you forgot and you can't? How do you react? What's your first reaction? And how long does it take you to recover from it? How does it feel when you're standing in a line in a grocery store and there's a long line to pay and you notice that the cashier is just chit-chatting because it's her friend or family member whose turn it is, and your time is ticking? You see, those are all these things where you don't have control over. Either it's done, you just found out, there's nothing you can do about it, or as it is happening, it's really out of your control. Weather, how much control do you have over weather? And how grumpy and frustrated you still get when you see like, oh, it's raining today. How is your mood throughout the day? How would it feel like if I came in and say, hey, get over it. It's done. You can't do anything about it. Let's move on. How would you feel? Or if somebody cut you off on the road and you were like, starting to yell all the, not nice words you don't want your kids to hear at the person. And I will tell you, just get over it. Nothing happened and it's done. Like, it was not personal. How would you feel? And so why should it be any different for your child? Yeah, because this is my big adult stuff and it's really important. And they're like, who cares about the color of the cup, or who cares that whatever happened for them, that they don't have their favorite socks or their favorite pajama. They still have 10 other like types of pajama. Well, for them, it's as important as your stuff is for you. Who are you to judge what is important and not? If you were little, what were the things that were the most important to you? Like, what was your favorite toy? And maybe you cried because your sibling broke it, or your best friend like played with it, or your dad stepped on it by accident. How many days afterwards did you cry? And don't you dare judging it now from your adult perspective and feeling like, yeah, exactly. Exactly. In your small world, when you're little, these things, they look big. And especially if it's something that your child would have preferred having a choice over. Especially if it's something where they feel they're stuck and they cannot choose, they don't have any other alternative. There is no other way, and the way how it has to go right now at this time, they feel forced into it and they don't like that scenario. That's even more frustrating for them. And you can understand, because you hate being forced into situations with no exit and with no reasonable timeline. Being pushed. You hate that yourself. So why do you think it's okay to judge your kids for having hard time accepting being pushed in a situation they don't like, right? So where do we even start with this? Rather than trying to find some parenting coach who will tell you abracadabra formula to make your kids like get over it, basically how to say in a polite way, get over it, because I don't have no patience for this. Like, I'm already on the edge myself, so I'm already stressed out. Get over it, otherwise it's going to get even worse. What is the more gentle parenting kind of way to say that? Stop looking for parenting scripts. Did you hear me? It's not about what you say. It's not about looking for a magic, manipulative, psychological trick that will make your kids suddenly see, you're right. I was making a fuss for nothing. Okay, let me be the calm, patient human being like the adult you are, my mother. Those scripts, they don't exist. It starts with you and with your energy, okay? You need to lead by example. And the best example is, rather than preaching and teaching, just stay calm, it's nothing. It's you actually demonstrating it. In the situations that matter the most to you, practice what you preach, my dear parent. And I'm not here like pointing fingers at you and blaming it all on you. I'll be the first one to point fingers at myself. I used to do exactly the same. Let me think about it. Let me dig out some example of my dirty laundry when I was losing my patience. Yeah, totally. Whenever my daughter was being too slow, absolutely. Because in my head, I had time, like the clock ticking. There was never enough time. So I was so frustrated and impatient whenever she was dragging her feet. And I was reading all these smart parenting books, and I knew they need time, kids. And if you rush them, they will be like impatient. They will feel not good enough, and they will feel stressed out, and they will have low self-confidence. I knew all of this stuff. But when I felt I had no time for myself, so many things to do, so little time to do it, every second counts, I felt like I had to be pushing her, because the more she was dragging her feet and complaining about things that she didn't like and making drama about it, the less patience, the less energy, and the less time I had to do what I felt was necessary. And therefore, I couldn't be calm. It was my role to push her. So I'll be the first one to put the finger, to point the finger at myself, okay? But this is where everything shifted for me, where I realized it's not about my daughter, it's really me. Everything that I struggle accepting in her, it's all a mirror pointing back to things I haven't healed and learned myself. Let me say that again. Everything that I found frustrating about my daughter, all the things that my brain would criticize her for, even secretly, because logically I knew it was shameful to even think that way about my child. But my head, the voices in my head were doing it. Everything that I found unacceptable in her was actually the same thing that I hated about myself. Okay, and this is why it's a first parenting podcast that's not about the kids, it is about parents. You need to clean up whatever stuff your kids are triggering. And now, specifically in this episode, if you're triggered by your kids creating a big drama about nothing, you need to start looking at where you are creating big drama about nothing. Because you know that when you look at it 1 hour, 2 hours later, when you calm down, it was about nothing. It was disproportionate reaction. You overreacted because it was just too much for you. It has been piling up, one little thing after the other little thing. And at the end, it was a big pile of little things until it reached a point of explosion and you just yelled it out in frustration. Yes. Once you admit and accept, yes, that's what I'm doing, then you will have much more empathy and compassion for your child, because this is usually exactly what's happening to them. Yes, there might be one last little thing on top that triggered their big explosion. But once you stop being triggered by your stuff and be able to stay calm and centered and focus on really your child rather than putting your shit on them, then you will realize it's not, maybe often, it's not even that little thing that you see as the last stuff that made them blow up. It was everything before. Is it because you're getting divorced or separated from your husband or wife that your kid is getting like hard time in life in general? So then this little thing was just on top, the last thing that sparkled it, but there's actually a lot of other stuff. Is it because there's a new sibling, there's a baby, and so they're not the first one, not the king of the world anymore who gets all of you all the time, but they have to share? Is it because you went to work? Is it because they transitioned to school or a new environment? There's a new nanny, there's something new in their life. What else has been going on in their lives that has contributed to making your kid feel out of control? Listen up. This is the need. This is their need underneath. Whenever it seems like they're freaking out over a little thing, it's a sign. It's just a symptom. It's usually often not that thing. It's a symptom that they are feeling out of control in potentially many other areas of their lives. Okay? They feel they don't have enough control. They don't have enough independence. Sometimes they're not feeling safe. If there are too many things changing at the same time, it doesn't feel safe. They are looking for the new routines, for the new kind of like baseline and foundations. And what they need the most, if that's really the case, is your unconditional love and really deep connection. They need to feel seen, heard, and understood by you. Because, spoiler alert, even as adults, that's all that we need as adults as well, to be seen, heard, and loved just the way you are, without anybody judging you or your reactions. Because you know that when you are making a drama about something, there's a good reason for it, right? Good reason. Well, it's the same for your kids. You just don't understand what led to it, the build-up that led to it. So how about we give our kids some grace? How about we clean up our stuff first so that we don't get triggered by their stuff, so that then we can see how we help them through? Because often, you're right, it's not about the color of whatever stuff they are now complaining about. You can and could choose to be supporting them in all of the things that led to it, the things that are underneath the surface. The jealousy, the uncertainty, like if they're bullied at school, whatever is going on, wherever they feel not heard, not loved, not connected to you, this is what you should be addressing, rather than you getting frustrated and angry about them making a drama about little thing, which then makes everything even worse, because they are feeling even less heard and understood. And everything else that's going on that's not being addressed, now this little thing on top, and you are making a drama about them having a tantrum, so then it's completely out of control, it's blowing up and it's all getting worse, right? So step one, let's start being hypocrites. Let's look at where we are judging our kids and we are actually doing exactly the same thing. Let's heal that. Again, I'm going to refer you back to my free training where I explain how. So that once you can stay calm, no matter what drama they have, you will be able to set boundaries. You will be able to say, like, I get it. It's a big deal for you right now. You don't have your favorite spoon to eat breakfast with. So how about you use this one? In the evening, we can go buy a new one you like, or we do whatever. Like, you help them get over the situation. But you will the most important thing is that you will focus on what led up to it. What is underneath that makes them feel out of control? That's what needs to be addressed, okay? Because that's what their little tantrum is about. Yes? And by being able to stay calm, you will become actually the best example to show them how to manage their emotions. And you can talk about it. Well, right now, seeing you throw food on the floor makes me feel really frustrated. So I get it that you're done with the food. I'm going to put it away. Saying that in a calm voice. That's what all these parenting techniques are teaching you, right? In a calm voice, set the clear boundaries, help them manage it in a calm voice. Your kids need to see you do that, because that's the best example for them to know it's possible. You can tell them, I am feeling angry right now. Not making them feel responsible for it, like you made me angry. No, it's you. It's like me, the mom, who's angry right now. Because we don't have much time left before we leave. Now the kitchen is a huge mess. So I'm not happy right now. But let's get this done and let's go, so that we all still have like a nice morning, nice start of the day, and we don't yell at each other. Like, I still love you. You messed up, and there's nothing you can do in this world. You can never mess up too much for me to stop loving you. I will always love you, and I hope you have a nice day. And giving them a hug. Yeah. Usually the worse behavior they show, if they're doing that something on purpose, and they create a big drama out of nothing, and they intentionally push your buttons. They do the thing that they know you hate. The more you see this kind of behavior, the more it means they are suffering inside. They are really missing the confirmation that they are loved. Yeah. The more shamed and judged they feel, the more they will ask for it. They will push for it, for you to prove them that you love them, that they are seen, they are heard, they are understood. And I know like that's counterintuitive for the parenting techniques, the classic conditional love, probably how you were raised as well as I was a list of conditions. The child needs to do this, needs to behave, needs to listen the first time, cannot say no, cannot be angry, cannot be screaming. Otherwise, if anything of that is happening, go to your room and come back when you're okay. That's the exact opposite of unconditional love, right? And the more your kid feel pushed away by you, the more they feel out of control, the more they will try to go and get it and get the confirmation that they are loved, that you are there for them. But as long as your inner child, your trauma, your own stuff is triggered, you will not be able to give it to them, because you will feel like the kid inside. Like, it's not fair. I'm giving so much to my kids. I'm giving them so much attention. I'm such a nice mom. I'm trying to work on myself to be calmer, and I'm already doing so much better than my parents. It's not fair because they keep asking for more and more and more, and it's never enough. And how dare they? I had to listen the first time I was asked. Otherwise, my parents would give me the silent treatment, and my mom wouldn't speak to me for a week. How dare they? I wouldn't even dare say no to my parents, and my kids are saying no to my face and laughing about it and calling me names. How dare they? As long as this feeling is inside of you, it will be like two kids having a power fight. Because in that moment, when you let those emotions take over, you become a kid yourself. Did you notice? So that's why a lot of this podcast is about healing your childhood. It's about pointing the finger back at your mom or dad and healing your stuff. Even if you thought, I had a happy childhood, I had nothing, like, I'm okay. Or I already did some therapy and I worked with so many counselors in the last 20 years. Yeah, right. Good. Perfect. And also, as long as you do not have control over your emotions, then you cannot ask the same from your kids who are even younger than you are. You need to figure it out yourself first. Yes? So this has been the recipe. How to help your kids get over big dramas coming out of nowhere for silly things. Well, you need to learn how to do that yourself first, so that you have the mental capacity to stay calm and not triggered when they go through their drama, and they get a role model in you to see how it's done. And what's most important is keeping that unconditional love connection going at all times. Yes, you can set boundaries. Yes, you don't. It doesn't mean you let them do whatever, whenever. You will set healthy boundaries with natural consequences. You need to set limits. But you will do that without blaming or shaming the kid. You will make them feel that they are loved, because that's what you wish you got when you were little, didn't you? Yes, does it make sense? Send me your feedback. Just reply to any of the emails you're getting from us if you've signed up for Zen Supermom emails. And if not yet, reach out on social media, anywhere where you find this podcast. Comment, reach out, ask questions. It's really my mission to help moms who struggle, just like I used to. I know it's very logical and common sense to turn it on the kids and just like help me manage those little pieces of pain in my butt. The moment you realize it all starts with you, then the work becomes fun. Yeah. There are no quick fixes. There are no easy, secret, magic, manipulative formulas that you can just say and your kid will turn into a unicorn. It's not meant to be that way. Your kids are your teachers. They are pointing out exactly where you need to grow up, where you have been behaving like a kid yourself so far. So, ready to grow up? Let's do it. Take very good care, Supermom or Superdad. Thank you. I appreciate you for keeping your ears and heart open. I know it is very, sometimes like too direct and even like intimidating to hear, like it starts with you. I know. The fact that you're here listening till the end and maybe even watching more of the podcast episodes, that tells me that you're ready for that work. So stay tuned. Let's continue. Why can't you stop yelling at your kids? And no, it's not the stress, lack of sleep, kids not listening, fighting, hitting, no support, time pressure, ADHD, hormones. No, moms around the world are doing it regardless. How? Join us for the upcoming Mommy Tantrum training and find out too.